Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is something that I've been thinking about for a good while now. What if we gave every Crash Bandicoot boss from the original trilogy a mask of their own? So this is going to be my own personal preferences, and if you guys disagree with my picks, feel free to go in the comment section and say which mask you would give to which character, because I did the best that I could. Some of the masks didn't quite fit, but for the most part I think I did good choices. So the criteria for this video is I'm going to do the original trilogy bosses only. As you can see in this image here, that's all of the bosses from the original Crash Bandicoot trilogy. And I have to use the masks that already exist in continuity with the series. I can't make masks up. And lastly, I am not going to count Apo Apo because in my headcanon he is a fusion of Aku Aku and Uka Uka, and they're going to be relegated to other characters, so Apo Apo is not eligible to be given out to another character. So with all that said, we're just going to start right off the bat with Aku Aku. So obviously Aku Aku is good, so he goes down to Crash Bandicoot. And then because we did Aku Aku, we might as well do Uka Uka because he was already in the image. And Uka Uka's pair is also obvious. He is Dr. Neocortex. So now is where I'm going to start with the already pre-established masks that are in the franchise. And the first set of masks I'm going to do are the elemental masks. So the first elemental that I wanted to cover is Rocco. He is an earth element, and I think the best pair that would go with Rocco would be Koala Kong. Mainly because Koala Kong's only boss fight, he was chucking boulders at Crash. So boulder chucking Koala pairing up with an earth elemental mask, I think that would work very well. We can give Koala Kong more boulders to throw. So Koala Kong gets Rocco. Then we're going to move on to Wawa. And I think this one is obvious to people as well. Wawa is going to be Ripperoo. I chose this because Ripperoo's battle arenas are always around water. And in Crash Team Racing, his track is Roo's Tubes, which is also underwater. The only appearance that I could recall of Ripperoo not being around a body of water is in Crash Bash in El Pogo Loco, where he makes a cameo appearance in a desert level. Even in Crash Bandicoot 4, his appearance is a cameo. In Crash 4, he was in a river stage. So Ripperoo is always around water. So I would give Ripperoo the Wawa mask. We have two more masks, but I'm not going to do them both right away because one of them I don't feel fits terrifically. But I'm going to do Pyro next, and I think this one would also be obvious to other people. Pyro would go to Dingodile. Dingodile always has his flamethrower. Sure, in Crash Bandicoot 4 he has a vacuum, and in one of the Game Boy Advance games he had a water gun. But for the most part, all of Dingodile's appearances, he uses his flamethrower. So I believe giving Dingodile Pyro, a fire elemental, can power up his attacks, and they would just be a great pair, both being fire-based. So that would lead us to Lolo, the earth or the wind elemental, but I wanted to skip him for now and jump into the quantum masks. So the first one is Lonnie Loli, and I chose to give him to the Komodo brothers. Originally I was going to give them Akano because Akano does the spinning attack, and that was the main attack that the two brothers do in Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. However, with them having two different characters, I didn't think it would be fair for them both to split holding the mask. So what I chose to do was give them Lonnie Loli, and both of them could share it and be in a different phase of being. So one would attack while the other one was phased out, and then Lonnie Loli would switch, and the other one would be able to attack. So I thought that was the logical step to take with giving two characters one mask. Next up we have Kapunawa, who is the Time Quantum Mask. So who on this image do you connect with time? That's right, Kapunawa would team with or pair with Dr. Entropy. So them both being time-based, similar to how Dingodile is fire-based, so I gave him the Fire Mask. I think that this is a terrific fit, and Kapunawa would definitely go with Tropy. So Tropy gets Kapunawa. So next we have a Kano. And originally, like I said, I planned to pair him with the Komodo brothers, but it didn't really fit. So then I thought, who could I pair a Kano with out of the remaining cast of characters? And it was a toss-up between Dr. Embryo and Tiny Tiger, mainly because when I see a Kano, I just envision strength. So I gave him to Tiny Tiger. I could just see Tiny in a purple form doing the spin attack and jumping and slamming into the ground, similar to his boss battles in Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot 3. So then that leaves us with the last Quantum Mask, which would be Ika Ika, who is a gravity-based Quantum Mask, and I chose to give him to Dr. Embryo. In Dr. Embryo's boss battles, he slams the ground and debris falls. So I figure the Ika Ika anti-gravity stuff we could just have whenever Brio transforms into his different state, he could swap the gravity and all of his attacks and boulders and debris can come flying downward. So that's who I would pick for the Ika Ika mask. So now that brings us all the way back around to Lolo, the wind elemental. And this one, it was pretty hard to pinpoint who I would put as the wind elemental mask holder. But the more I thought about it, I thought I would give it to Pinstripe. Mainly because Pinstripe's level in Crash Bandicoot, or not Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing was Hot Air Skyway. So he was way up in the air. So a combination of that and him doing like flips in Crash Bandicoot 1, kind of like floating in the air with his flips, I figured we could give him the wind elemental. And perhaps when he transforms into his genie-like state like Crunch did, maybe he can shoot lightning out of his hand like a Tommy gun. I'm not 100% sold on that one, but that's why it took a while to loop back around to it. If you have a better idea where Lolo could fit, please let me know in the comment section. And now we hit a speed bump in our challenge video. So we have Dr. Engine left and Papu Papu left. But no main masks are left. Like we have the Velo Mask, who wouldn't fit either of them, in my opinion. So what was I to do? There are actually 2 more masks that are unnamed in the lore of Crash Bandicoot. In Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, Jurassic Krunk has a mask of his own, and it has sentience as seen in the podium. I have a whole video on that, I'll link it in the description. But I felt as if Krunk and Papu Papu both embody the whole shaman vibe. So I figured I would give Papu Papu the Terran Jurassic mask, since the 2 of them are like shamans. So I felt that would fit best. And then that brings us to our last character, Dr. Engine. And now all of the masks are seamlessly gone. Seemingly gone. So there's only 1 mask left in the lore of the series, and there's only 1 character left. So he kind of just, by default, gets the last mask. Like I said, we're not going to include the Velo Mask in this, because he doesn't really fit any of these characters. Had we included Oxide we would give Oxide the Velo Mask, but because this is the original trilogy, we're just going to leave it as these bosses. So the last mask in the lore of the series is the Unnamed Mechanical Mask from Crash Bandicoot Nitro Kart 2. Literally all he did was tell you the missions that you had to accomplish. And with him being mechanical, I figured, you know what? Engine's a cyborg, so since they're the last two left, we don't know what techniques this mask would have. But with him being mechanical, he already kind of fits Dr. Engine. So everyone, those are all my picks. If, like I said, if you disagree with what I picked, please get in the comment section and let me know where you would have put each mask. I think for the most part, all of these picks make a lot of sense. The only ones that I'm really iffy on are Ika Ika, Kano, and Lolo. But for the most part, I'm confident with these picks. So I'm glad that you guys watched the video. If you're still here, I guess the secret word for the video can be masquerade. I just want to take this time to thank everyone who's subscribed and who comments, and that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good night. Take care.